Don't deadhead these 5 perennials for hummingbirds in summer. Warning! Your pruning habits might be starving migrating hummingbirds. As summer draws to a close, many perennials start to look a bit worse for wear. The temptation to deadhead can be overwhelming, but here's where it gets crucial for our feathered friends. Some plants are still serving a vital purpose for migrating hummingbirds. By mid to late summer, hummingbirds begin their arduous journey south, relying on nectar-rich flowers for sustenance. While it's instinctive to prune fading blooms, this is the moment to pause and reconsider which plants are still supporting wildlife. Take salvias, for instance. A mature clump might produce 50 stems, each packed with hundreds of nectar-rich tubular flowers. Even when they brown, they remain a valuable resource for hummingbirds. Cutting them back late in the season might yield a handful of new stems, but at a critical time when migrating birds need them most. So, which perennials should you leave be for the sake of hummingbirds? Here are the top 5 perennials to never deadhead during their migration. 1. Cardinal flower, Lobelia cardinalis. This scarlet-colored North American native is a hummingbird magnet. Its vivid flower spikes, typically blooming from July to September, should be left intact, as they don't reliably rebloom late in the year. Every stem you cut is one less food source during migration. Live plants available on Amazon. https://2847552. Reference NPR. Planting tip. Plant on a mild day, avoiding high temperatures on highways. Before starting any propagation. And water deeply to help your new plant settle. 2. Bee balm, Bee Mornarda. While deadheading bee balm is beneficial earlier in the season, stop by August and leave the flowers intact. The tubular flowers rich in nectar even when the petals have turned brown. Try the leading lady plum variety from Burpee. /click.linksynergy.com/ID KXQXXXI mid 3039 U1 nectar. All homes and gardens _US Monarda didyma leading lady plum product 09607508. As hummingbirds will continue to visit for the last sips of nectar, consider feeding your penstemons with an organic bloom booster like Espomas, available on Amazon. 4. Salvia. As a staple in wildlife gardens, salvias produce tubular, nectar-rich flowers irresistible to hummingbirds. Put the pruners down by August, as deadheading might yield some new growth, but at the cost of existing blooms. Even faded flowers retain nectar, supporting hungry birds and pollinators. Add Salvia nemorosa May Night to your collection from Amazon. Target.georiot.com/proxy.ashx TSID equals 10755. GRURL https amazon.com/salvia nemorosa meadow perennial flowers. DPT AS key MS HFFF4G. DPT AS equals search 1655. Hummingbird mint, Agastache. This perennial lives up to its name, attracting hummingbirds with its lilac spires that bloom until fall. Resist the urge to deadhead by late summer, as you might lose the stems still blooming or browning, which can support pollinators. Try Agastache Royal Raspberry from Burpee. Click.linksynergy.com/deeplink ID.KHXQILM in synergy _Burpee product 6602. Mention, should I deadhead coral honeysuckle for migrating hummingbirds? No, leave it be. Coral honeysuckle continues to produce nectar-rich blooms throughout the season, and even brown flowers retain nectar for hummingbirds. Maintain your hummingbird feeders. Regularly clean and disinfect your feeders to prevent pests and problems. Use a hummingbird cleaner like this one from Amazon. Burpee coral honeysuckle. Decorative red hummingbird feeder with 6 feeding ports. Perky Pet Hummingbird Nectar Concentrated Mix. We'd love to hear from you. Do you have a favorite perennial that attracts hummingbirds to your garden? Have you ever noticed a significant difference in hummingbird visits after altering your deadheading habits? Share your thoughts and experiences in the comments below. The 5-leaf rule for deadheading roses. Get more blooms this summer. Imagine this, a rose garden in full bloom, vibrant and lush. But how do you keep it that way all summer long? Enter the 5-leaf rule for deadheading roses, a game changer shared by award-winning gardener Pollyanna Wilkinson. Deadheading, much like pruning, is a gardening essential that involves removing parts of a plant. Specifically, it's about cutting off spent flowers to tidy up the plant and encourage new growth. By deadheading, you're gonna get more flowers on your repeat flowering roses. And who wouldn't want that? Pollyanna asks her followers in an Instagram video. Deadheading roses is simple, but there are common mistakes to avoid if you want to prevent those unsightly brown stems. Pollyanna outlines 2 phases of deadheading a rose. Phase 1 kicks in when individual blossoms in a cluster have finished flowering. Look closely at your plant. If there are still closed buds and currently flowering blooms, leave them be. Instead, focus on the spent blooms, those that have lost most or all of their petals. Grab your secateurs and snip the stem right at the junction where it meets the central stem. Avoid cutting right below the bud, as Pollyanna warns, that's going to leave an ugly old stem, which is going to turn slowly brown. It's not cute. Phase 2 begins when the entire cluster has finished flowering. It's time to remove the whole cluster. And there's a clever trick for this. Follow this central stem down until you hit 5 leaves, and you will cut it right here. Pollyanna explains, snipping the stem just above the 5-leaflet leaf set. This method encourages more blooms and prevents the ugly brown bit of stick. But here's where it gets controversial. Why 5 leaves instead of 3? One commenter noted that following this advice would mean cutting back their plant significantly. Pollyanna emphasizes that deadheading this way makes the rose stronger. If you deadhead by just snipping off the flower head or cutting above a 3-leaflet leaf, the plant may send out a weak, thin shoot that struggles to flower, she explains. The 5-leaflet junction is usually from a thicker, stronger part of the stem, helping keep the rosebush balanced and bushy. So, in essence, following the 5-leaf rule ensures your stem stays sturdy and your rosebush remains healthy and vibrant. And this is the part most people miss. Deadheading isn't just about aesthetics. It's about the plant's overall health and future blooms. What do you think? Have you tried the 5-leaf rule in your garden? Share your experiences and thoughts in the comments below. We'd love to hear if this method has worked for you or if you have a different approach that yields beautiful results. July gardening mistakes to avoid. Last planting chance for summer success. As July comes to an end, many gardeners may find their once vibrant gardens looking a bit tired, especially with the ongoing heat waves as we transition into August. This situation is far from ideal, particularly when summer gatherings and barbecues are on the horizon. If you, like many, were eager to cultivate a beautiful garden in the spring, you might now be realizing that your efforts have not yielded the desired results. Unless you possess expert gardening skills, which I certainly do not, you may have inadvertently selected plants that lack durability and resilience, leaving them unable to recover from the intense summer heat. But here's where it gets controversial. Many gardeners overlook the importance of choosing the right plants for the season, leading to disappointment. To avoid repeating past mistakes, I sought advice from gardening professionals to discover which plants are best to purchase before July wraps up. Given my inconsistent watering habits and limited plant knowledge, I might seem like a lost cause, but you don't have to make the same errors I did. What plants should you consider for summer? Perennials. Experts unanimously recommend planting perennials, which are plants that thrive for more than 2 years, to ensure your garden remains vibrant. Tammy Sons, the founder and CEO of TN Nursery, suggests incorporating coneflowers, black-eyed Susans, and bee balm. as these plants establish well in warm soil and provide color and blooms that can last into early autumn. Laura Janney, CEO of the Inspired Garden Masterclass, also recommends alliums, which are hardy, low-maintenance flowering plants with globe-shaped heads in shades of purple, pink, or white. These plants bloom later in the summer, alongside Heliopsis, commonly known as the false sunflower. Other perennials suitable for July planting that will continue to bloom into fall include coneflower, yarrow, and agastache. Additional options include nerine, autumn crocus, sternbergia, geraniums, and autumn cyclamen. Biennials. Another category to consider is biennials, which develop leaves in their first year and flower in their second. Helena Jones, a gardening expert and head of commercial at Hedges Direct, emphasizes the urgency of planting these. July is the final opportunity to sow biennials, she explains, noting that seeds such as Angelica, Digitalis, Verbascum, Honesty, Teasel, and stalks should be sown now for blooms next year. Annuals. While annuals have a shorter lifespan, their beauty makes them a must-have in any garden. Andrew White, a gardening expert at Rhino Greenhouses, points out that several stunning bedding plants can thrive even when planted late into August. He highlights marigolds, which flourish in full sun and heat, and petunias, which, although they can be perennials, are often treated as annuals in the UK due to their frost sensitivity. These plants bloom quickly, which is crucial for late-season planting, and they are highly tolerant of heat with regular watering, making them excellent choices as summer peaks in the UK. Crops. Tammy also suggests taking advantage of the late season by planting crops like kale and carrots, which mature better in cooler weather. Gardening mistakes to avoid. Now, let's assume we heed the experts' advice and fill our carts with these beautiful plants. However, success is not guaranteed. Several common mistakes during planting and maintenance can lead to failure, from poor timing to improper watering. Chris Ramos, a gardening expert at Blaine's Farm Fleet, identifies several pitfalls, including planting slow-growing species too late, neglecting to repot fall flowers, exposing plants excessively to heat, and skipping mulch. Trees and shrubs require time to establish their roots, and July's heat can induce stress on these plants, she warns. She also notes that both overwatering and underwatering can severely harm plant life, while neglecting to deadhead flowers can lead to wilting and premature death of blooms. In conclusion, Laura states, overall, gardening in July can be quite challenging due to the high heat, dry conditions, and intense sunlight. And this is the part most people miss. What strategies do you use to keep your garden thriving in the summer heat? Share your thoughts and experiences in the comments below.